Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Sayyid FAROOQ Hasan is back with a new episode of Sky is the Limit. We have tried to incorporate distinguished individuals, high performers, top achievers, people who have made Pakistan proud in this program. And it includes a series of individuals. Today I happen to be again with a very, very distinguished individual. An individual who dedicated most of his professional career in policing. He was involved in a lot of reforms, whether it be in police or in NAB. An MBBS doctor, degree holder, and then switching over to bureaucracy. How did it all happen? He has served a lot in United Nations also, in UN missions abroad, and he was awarded a gold medal also by the European Union Association. So let's hear it from Mr. Sultan Azam Temuri. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam, walaikum salam, and thank you very much for having me today.
Pleasure, Temuri bhai. I've been trying to, get hold of you for a long, long time now. You've always been very kind, like a mentor also. I've learned a lot from you about policing, and I think you've had a lot of service in Islamabad and obviously in UN missions abroad also. So we've interacted a lot of times, and it was always my dream or wish to share his experiences with all of you, the way I know Temuri bhai. So Temuri bhai, you've served all your career in police, and you were IG Islamabad also, and then obviously many years in UN missions abroad, where you represented Pakistan, and Alhamdulillah you were awarded a gold medal also. So we'll come to all that, but tell me one thing which I always ask. MBBS itself is a very, very tough degree. 5 years of strenuous work, strenuous study, lot of tension, exams, profs, and then you become a doctor. And after going through and passing all that, that river of difficulty, and then you finally decide to do another difficult thing, which was CSS, and you passed that and you came into police. What made you, switch from medicine to CSS?
Yes, I have served for about 33 years in police service of Pakistan, and 8 years in United Nations. And
out of these 33
out of these 33 years. And of course, I became a doctor first as an MBBS doctor from Rawalpindi Medical College. And you are right, medicine is really, really very tough. To study medicine, it is one of the most toughest things in the world to study. But when I became a doctor, I realized that maybe I'm not a very good doctor. I mean, as a professional, I thought that there is something lacking in me. I should have been better in administration. My father was a government servant.
Was it that because of reaction to a couple of patients that you treated?
Yes, that was also one of the, because in the beginning I started my career in Noori, which is in oncology,
cancer hospital.
In cancer
yes,
hospital.
Yes.
And I was really, also I got really depressed there, because most of the patients, they did not survive after some time. So, but that was one of the reasons. But the other reason was that basically at that time when I became a doctor, everybody either became a doctor or engineer. It was a trend that if you are a doctor, if you are not a doctor or engineer, then you are nothing.
You're nothing. And parents used to decide.
And their parents, they used to decide. So, and also socially, there was a great pressure on you to either to become a doctor or to become an engineer. So when I became a doctor, I realized that maybe if I go in civil service, where my father always, because I always idealized my father. He was a
bureaucrat?
He was a bureaucrat. He was a CSP officer. Form 52 batch. I always idealized him. So I thought, let me try and give an exam in CSS exam. And I landed up in in Police Service of Pakistan.
And you passed that
And I
exam.
passed, and then I of course I took three attempts. It was
Okay.
not the first attempt.
You cleared it in third attempt?
Yeah, I cleared it. In the first attempt, I couldn't manage. I
Right.
couldn't get any service. In the second one, I got accounts. In the third one, I got the Police Service of Pakistan. But when I got the Police Service of Pakistan, my father, he really
He was very happy.
he didn't want me to go to the police service.
Okay.
He said that it is, if you go to the police service, I will just throw you out of my house.
Disown you.
I will disown you.
Okay.
And then I really, convinced him that, because he said that being a doctor, it is better to remain as a doctor or in account service than in police.
But you're serving humanity in both fields.
Yes,
in
yes.
medicine also
So-
and in police also.
So I tried to explain it to him that, in Pakistan.
Which service was he from?
He was from, now they call it DMG.
Yeah.
Or, at that time, they call it Civil Service of Pakistan.
So he was like DC. And,
DC, yeah, he was DC and commissioner. Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, he was really allergic to police
police.
somehow.
Okay.
And he said, "Don't come in front of me when you are wearing a uniform."
Okay. I would like to know the reasons for that.
So I tried to convince him that let me go there, and if I don't, because he also thought that my personality is not of police type, and
You're
I
a
will
thorough
not.
gentleman, very
Yes, it's because
docile.
I'm soft and I will not be able to survive there.
Yeah.
But I told him, let me try. I can always go back and become a doctor. So I tried, and when I entered the police service, I think now I think that I've really taken a very good decision in my life.
That you became police
that
officer?
I became a police officer.
Okay, we're going to talk about your accomplishments, but was CSS more difficult or was medicine more difficult?
Medicine was much more difficult. CSS is nothing in front of it.
Really?
Yes. My medicine, it is really at that time, especially now, it is much more easier.
Okay.
Because there are
You have access to
Google
internet
and all these things, and it's much more easier to see three-dimensional things. But at that time, it was very difficult.
So you would say that medicine was at any given point in time difficult than CSS?
Much more difficult.
My
For a
God.
doctor, civil service exam is nothing.
Okay.
And you'll be astonished to know that in my batch about 80% of us, we were doctors in police.
Okay.
So
In your batch?
in my batch.
So a lot of doctors came for
Yes,
service?
lots of doctors at that time,
Okay.
because there was a trend. The doctors were not they were surplus at that time, and they were not getting good jobs.
So it was like an alternate career.
Yes, and the second reason again was when I asked my father to give me some funds for going abroad, where I can do my post graduation and everything. He said it is not possible for
I'm
him
a government servant.
because I'm a government servant and I have 4 other kids. 3 other kids, we are 4.
Okay.
So it will not be possible. So I thought it is better for me
To be on your own.
to on my own, and let's start a journey.
And then you traveled the whole world by virtue of your
Yes,
police
of course,
service because
of
you were
course.
in your. So we'll come to that, but I'm glad you clarified that, and for all the who want to be doctors, who want to be doctors, want to do 5 years, this is an alternate career that you can take. And according to Sultan Azam Temuri, Dr. Sultan Azam Temuri, CSS is much easier as an exam as compared to MBBS. Azam bhai, how did it all start? Where were you born, and how many siblings? And tell us something about your initial childhood.
Actually, I was born in Karachi, and then later on. But since my father was a government servant, so most of the time we stayed in Lahore or in Islamabad.
Okay. But you hailed from Karachi.
But I was born in Karachi. And,
okay, schooling and all?
No, my schooling was started from Lahore. It was a divisional public school in
Because
Lahore.
your father was posted in Lahore?
Yeah, he was posted in Lahore. So I was, in my till class 8th, I was in Lahore.
Okay, which school was that?
It's a divisional public school, Lahore.
DPS?
DPS Model Town, Lahore. So I studied there.
That's a very famous and very old school.
Yeah, it's a very old school.
Okay.
So actually...
And how were you in your studies? Were you
I was extremely bad.
Really?
In the beginning, I was not a very bright student.
Okay.
In fact, my parents and my grandmother, they thought, I'm basically mentally retarded. and you know,
You
I'm
were
not
slow.
they thought I'm so slow.
Oh.
So they even took me to different doctors to see, because my other siblings, I have,
You were which number were you?
I'm number one.
You're the
I'm the
eldest one.
eldest. Then I have two brothers and one sister.
Okay.
And they were extremely good in studies.
Okay.
And they even did not, they were not so hardworking also.
Okay.
But they were extremely
Focused.
they were focused and very, intelligent, you can
And
say.
you were hardworking?
I was more hardworking than I was not so intelligent.
Okay.
But I was very, but at that time, I was not even hardworking till class 8.
Okay.
Class 8, I got I was the lowest in the class.
So during, from class 1 to 8, you were not a good student.
No, I was
you
not
were
a good
amongst probably the last 25%
Yes,
of your class?
Yes.
And what was your activities then? Like, if you were not interested in studies, like, were you a good sportsman? Or were you good in games? Or were you good in debates?
Nothing. I was a
Shy
very
kid?
shy introvert and a mediocre, person till although there were some extracurricular
What were
activities,
your hobbies?
like I joined the school band.
Okay.
I was in the school band, and I was interested in dramas. I used to do the drama. There was
Theatrics,
yes.
okay.
So only on these things. But otherwise, in studies, I was not good. But my father one day, he gave me a pep talk.
Okay.
He told me that, if this progression continues, if you continue to be like this, one day you have to be a beggar one day, and you have to someday beg from your own siblings, because if you are not a good student, if you don't get to the top. And then I basically, I was really shocked at that time. That even I have to, beg it from my own siblings and my own brothers and sisters who were really very good in
So
studies.
your father was serious, he meant it, and that had an impact on your...
When he said that, it really had a great impact on my mind.
Okay.
And
You had never had that kind of a talk before?
No. He used to tell me before, but not this type of a talk which he gave. And it was really, it went into my head. And I really changed myself.
So who taught you during the school days? Usually, your father?
No, we had lots of tutors and everyone. They tried their best, but somehow I was since I was not focusing maybe on my studies.
I wanted to know the reason why.
So I was more into games and all these things, and dramas and music and all these things. So, but after that, when he said that, it was there was a reaction. I became I studied very hard. I left everything.
180 degrees.
Yeah, 180 degrees. I left everything. For next, 10 to 15 years, I became a recluse. I was in a shell. There was a basement in our house. I went into that basement. I just started studying there and doing nothing. I just left television, everything. For next 10 years, I'm just cut off from the world. Okay. And I started focusing on my studies. And then I became, very good in studies. I was amongst the top 3 or 4.
This is in grade 9?
From grade 9. Then at that time, we were in Islamabad. We came to Islamabad. My father was posted in Islamabad.
Okay.
So I studied, then I was in Islamabad College for Boys.
Mm-hmm.
This is called ICB, yes.
Yeah.
So from there on, I was amongst the top.
So and you started studying on your own, or through
I
tuition?
No. From then I was on my own. But I was very hardworking.
So you had a complete changed personality from grade 8 onwards?
Yes.
And what was your ambition during growing up, when you were growing up? Were you like ambitious that, okay, I want to become a pilot, I want to become a doctor, did you have any dream?
Yeah, from the very beginning, I used to have a visions. And I used to see myself as a very successful person in my dreams. And I used to feel that everyone is shaking hands with me, people are saluting me, I'm going in UN or airplanes and even cars. There is a flag on my car. And I used to, I started, used to think that one day I will be a very, very successful person in life.
You were convinced on that, but studies-wise you were not getting
Studies-wise, at that time, everybody was either pre-medical or pre-engineering. So I went to pre-medical and I started
No,
studying.
what I was asking Sultan Bhai was that during initial days when you said you weren't good in your studies, like
Yes,
grade
yes.
1, grade 2, did you have any ambition that you want to be, what did you want
No,
to do in
at
life?
that time there was no ambition.
ambition.
I was not completely, I was not clear.
Not clear.
But
Till grade 8 you were not
no,
clear.
but when I came to grade from 9, I was clear that I want something important in my life. I want to be something important, someone important.
And
who
for
can-
that you need to study hard.
I have to study hard. This is the only way I can achieve my goals.
Goals, targets. Okay.
And this is something which came into my mind, and I really focused only on my studies.
And were you an introvert or an extrovert?
No, then at that time I became a completely introvert.
Introvert.
Yes, from
No
yes, from
friends,
studies from 9th till matric, in FSC, then in medicine.
So
I was
you scored good in metric?
yes. Then I was one
Among the top 10 or someone? Okay.
I was not among the. I didn't get the position, but I was a very high first division. I
Okay.
got. So I got easily,
In pre-medical?
In pre-medical.
Which college did you go to?
Then I went to a Rawalpindi Medical College because my house was in Islamabad. I wanted to
You
remain.
did your pre-medical from ICB,
Yes,
and then from there you got admission in RMC.
RMC.
And RMC also is a very recognized university now.
Yes.
So I'm sure the merit would have been
Yes,
high.
it was very high.
But you got admission.
And I wanted to go in Rawalpindi Medical College because I wanted to remain close to my house. So I went there and I did my medicine. But still, in medicine also, I wanted to be in WHO or something. I had to do something.
Something with a big office.
With a big office, with something.
Not just an ordinary
Yes,
doctor.
where I can contribute something in this life. So basically, after doing my medicine, then I of course realized that I must enter civil service of Pakistan, because if I really want to do something, if I want to achieve my ambitions, I think civil service is the best.
No, how much did you score in your MBBS final? Like, were you amongst the top end of the class, mid end, or the last end?
I was amongst the I had got more than 60% of marks.
Okay.
in the
So in the middle
final. Although it was another contributing factor, because when I failed in surgery.
Okay.
In one exam. In medicine, sometimes, because it's very tough exam, sometimes you fail also in final year or somewhere. I failed in one. At that time, again, I had this impression that medicine, once I pass, I will not remain here. Somehow it also...
You got that, you decided.
Yeah, at that time I also decided that, but I passed, but as a whole, I got very good marks. I got more first division in MBBS, which is very less. Very few people get it.
Okay.
So I got first division, and then I did my house job in medicine and surgery, and then
After your MBBS.
the MBBS. But in the meanwhile, I started studying.
So when you were in your
CSS.
final year, you had decided that, okay, I will complete the MBBS
Yes.
because I want to make my father happy.
Yes.
I will become a doctor, but I will not choose this as a profession. I want to do civil services.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So you then started studying for it.
Then I started studying.
How long? How many years? Like 1 year?
During the house job, I took the exam.
Okay.
And that one, because house job is again very tough. You have to really work very hard. For 24 hours you are there. So I didn't get very...
Did you take tuitions?
No, I didn't take that.
Any
I
academy?
did it myself.
No academy?
No, I did myself. I passed, but I did not get
Any group?
any group at
Okay,
that time.
okay.
But the next year, then I again...
And you continued with your medicine till then?
Yeah, I continued.
Okay.
After that, I went to Noori
Hospital?
hospital, then CTA as a medical officer
Okay.
in the hospital.
Okay.
Then
Government job.
the government job. But in the meanwhile, I did my...
So second year again you gave the exam
Second, yes, I did
and you
my...
got in accounts
in
group.
accounts group.
And you didn't want to join?
In accounts group, again, I thought, you can't do much in accounts also. You just sit in the office and you just have to do some office work. I just wanted something more than that. I wanted to really play a very important role in life, where I can have an impact on people's life. I can change something. I can contribute something. So I thought accounts will not be able to cater whatsoever I want. So in the same year, I took the exam. the third exam, and I came into police service.
Okay. And so you joined police, your father wasn't happy. What about your other siblings? Were like your other brothers, were they also did they also join government service?
No, they all excelled, of course, because they were all very good in studies. And one of my brother is the number 2 in Attak Oil Refinery. He was a chemical engineer.
Okay.
The second one, after third one, is electronics engineer. He's now in Spain. He has his own business there. And my sister, she's also in United States. She's also done lots of degrees, and she's also very well placed there.
So a family of educated individuals.
Yes.
When you joined police, I'm sure you would have been subjected to the academy. Everyone has to go to National Police Academy. How was that 1 year or 6 months or 8 months of training there? How did you find that?
Yeah, the training, of course, is very tough. It is very, especially in police. And I changed myself completely when I entered police service. Since previously I was introvert, I became introvert intentionally to focus on my studies. But when I became, a police officer, then I made myself more extrovert also. And I also focused on my physical aspects also, because I always lacked that. I never exercised, I never played any sports during this period. So I started focusing on my physical aspects also. And I really changed. Mentally and physically, I changed myself and to make myself more fit in the police service of Pakistan. And I was able to achieve that. So it was tough. Physically.
Okay.
But after this training, I had another training with which was anti-terrorist training, ATS training, which I did with the constabulary. And you do it voluntarily. That I did in Assembly. It was one of the most toughest thing training I've ever.
How long was it for?
It was about 3 months.
You get that ATS badge.
Yeah, we get for ATS badge.
The daggers.
Yes, and that I did it in Assembly, and it was that really made me very tough, because I did it with the constabulary, and I really developed an empathy with the constabulary also during that time. We used to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and throughout the day we used to do the physical activities, firing and running and jogging, and it was very tough, repelling. So that training was more tougher than the one which we did in the academy, police academy.
Okay.
And physically.
It's one grade high.
Yeah, it is physically very tough. So I really did that very well. And
you opted for it yourself?
Yeah, I opted it for myself. Although later on I regretted also why I opted it because it was so tough. But I did it.
And how many police officers in your batch?
In my...
When you passed out and you chose the police?
We were 19.
19?
Yes.
Okay, very nice. Okay, we are going to continue this talk and know more about Dr. Sultan Azam Temuri. How did he manage to get the gold medal from the European Union Association while serving in UN missions? And how was his career as a whole, and what kind of advice does he have for each one of you? Welcome back to Sky's the Limit. I am in conversation with Dr. Sultan Azam Temuri. So, Temuri bhai, you joined the academy, you did your ATS, you did your training. What was your first assignment as ASP UT? Where were you posted?
As ASP UT, I was posted in Rawalpindi.
Okay.
And after that, I was...
what was your first experience, first day? How was your first day?
It was, when I went to the office, it was I really felt...
Wearing a uniform?
Yes, I really felt different.
Okay.
Because I felt my presence very heavy.
Okay, very important.
People now were
saluting
and recognizing me, which I never had that experience before. So it was different. But this thing never went into my head. I always became more humble, as whenever I got more power in my life, I became more humble in my life. So, but this was the first experience. And as an ASP, I remained in two places.
Okay.
Not only in as a ASP Gujar Khan and also an ASP City Jhang.
This is you're talking about UT or
Then
proper becoming an
after
UT ship under training
yeah,
is
it's
for
under
6
training.
months.
It's for 6 months, and then after UT ship, you also and go as a
ASP
do
too.
your FC Frontier Constabulary.
Okay.
So I did my Frontier Constabulary in Gadoon, but that Gadoon force was stationed in Islamabad. So
Ah.
practically, I was in Islamabad.
Okay.
So
okay.
and after that, I was posted in Gujar Khan.
Okay.
as
And
ASP.
then your career started, and then obviously served
Yes.
in so many places in Multan, in Faisalabad,
Yes.
as at senior roles as
Yes,
RPOs, regional police officer, and then a lot many years in UN missions abroad,
Yes.
and then in NACTA also, and then in NAB also for that matter. And in fact, you were instrumental in formulating the NAB policy at that time.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, yes. When they wanted to change the NAB completely, wanted to give something, make it more stronger, so that it can have more accountability powers. And at that time, I was part of that strategy. It was sponsored by KPMG. So with KPMG and NAB, there was a group of officers. We were involved in devising this national anti-corruption strategy. So we were able to devise it. Mainly, we want to take the powers of FIA, the anti-corruption powers, and give it to NAB.
Okay.
So mainly our focus was that, and we also did that, but later on, everything was reversed afterwards.
Okay. And what about your contribution in NACTA?
In NACTA, we were able to, because terrorism, it has two parts: counter-terrorism, which is the hard part,
Yeah.
and also counter-violent extremism.
Okay.
So basically, my work was more in countering violent extremism, and for that we really made a strategy there also, and we tried to implement it all over Pakistan. And it's basically we wanted to involve the police, and for that we did it by community policing. Through community policing, we wanted to involve the community and to reduce this means of extremism.
So
in the people.
participatory kind of model whereby the community interfaces directly with the police,
Yes.
so as to help curb the crime.
Yes,
Yeah.
and crime, and also this extremist thoughts also, to reduce them, and also to identify them and how to manage them. And so we did a course also in the United States for this, and in USIP, and we went there twice to US, and we did that course here, and then we also implemented the counter-violent extremism strategy in Pakistan also.
Wow. And tell me one thing, Tamir bhai, how come the UN mission likes you so much that you spent a lot many years abroad with the UN mission? I think probably more than any other police officer that I would know. What was your unique selling point? What was your USP?
Yes, as I told you before, that I always used to dream that I will be in United Nations, and somehow all that dream came true.
Okay.
And starting from Bosnia Herzegovina, where I was posted in '94, '95, and 2000, 2001 again. It was the peak time when there was
The
a
conflict was at
conflict
its-
in Balkan was at its height. I was posted there, and then again in Sudan, in Darfur, which is one of the most difficult areas to live and to work. I also worked there. In total, I worked for 8 years in the United Nations, and I think I was able to protect the civilians, which was our basic aim. Our basic aim was to protect the civilians, like IDPs and refugees, and also to capacity building of the local police, which we also did in Bosnia Herzegovina, also, and also in Darfur, Sudan. And also we also promoted and protected the human rights of the people. For that, we were monitored the human rights violations also in Bosnia, and again in Darfur. So all these aspects were done in all these places, and we provided the humanitarian assistance to the needy there. And this was my last posting was as a police commissioner there. I was the head of the police, and I was in charge of it was a great honor for Pakistan, because about 46 countries were represented there. And
working with different nationalities.
Nationalities. About 2,500 people were under my command, and it was the first time.
And the police commissioner is obviously the top of the top.
Yes, top of the top. And I was able to really implement all the strategies there in Sudan, especially when I was the police commissioner.
And it was a dangerous assignment?
Yes, it is dangerous.
It is,
because it is
because people usually think that UN mission jobs, roles are, just not that difficult or not that dangerous for that matter.
When I was in 94, 95, I was in Bosnia. I was really about to die twice. Once in a traffic accident because there was snow there, and it was a very interesting. Since I remember, there was it's called black ice, and it's
very slippery.
And it's very slippery. And my the driver, who was a Canadian police officer, he basically he was from RCMP, Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and I was sitting just beside him, and he told me, please wear the seat belt.
You weren't wearing a seat belt?
And I was not. At that time, it was...
How come, Temuri
bhai? Because in 94, 95, it was not somehow in the culture, maybe at that time, and I should have done.
You should have.
So, but
remained SSP traffic police also.
But after this, so at that I was ASP at that time.
Okay.
I was very young.
Okay.
So he told me, please wear it. Otherwise, I will not, move my car. I will not drive. So I wore it, and our car slipped, and it went into a ditch. And I became unconscious. When I came to my consciousness, he was standing there, and he said, today, only because of the seat belt you are alive.
Oh my God.
This remained in my mind. And when I became a SSP traffic, I was very, very strict about it. And we got this law promulgated, this seat belt and telephone fine on using the mobile while driving, when I was SSP Traffic Islamabad.
I think every citizen in Islamabad has been through the grind. So
yes,
we know.
Yes, but they are life-saving, basically.
No, of course.
So basically that was one of the incidents which took place, since it was very, very dangerous. Secondly, there was a mine there, and we were very close to the mine, and one of the dogs or a cat, somehow it went on the mine, and we were saved because it blasted before us. So this is... 9 times in my life I came close to death.
During different operations?
Yes, these were 2, but in different operations. So 9 times.
Wow.
So basically, 2 times it went in UN. So it was very, very tough. Even in Darfur, you couldn't go out without an escort. And there should be an APC and an escort with you. 20 people, at least armed people, should be with you. Otherwise,
at all times.
At all times. Otherwise, the rebels will take you will kidnap you. So basically, it was all these places were very, very, very sensitive and very dangerous and tough.
And what made you earn the gold medal that you got from the European Union Association?
European Union, they see your entire profile and what exactly you did in all the missions. So we were 2 officers from Pakistan, and we both got the...
Who was the other one?
Dr. Shoaib.
Dr. Shoaib Sadal?
No, not Dr. Shoaib Sadal. Dr. Shoaib is Captain Shoaib.
He was your...
He was 1 year junior to me.
Okay.
And so he was also in Bosnia. So we both got this. And one of the officer who basically laid his life, he died during his Shahada.
A Pakistani officer?
A Pakistani officer. Okay. So we were 3 who got. So basically they give this medal for your contribution because I was involved in monitoring the human rights violations and taking action cognizance against the human rights violations. Police was basically was one of the main human rights violators in Bosnia-Herzegovina.
The local police.
So local police. So we took action against them, and we had the power to decertify them from the so we decertified lots of police officers from Bosnia.
And how many total years of service in UN missions, if you were to combine it?
8 years.
8 years total.
Yes.
Out of your
33 years.
33 years of service, 8 years you were. So
Yes.
25 years in Pakistan.
Yes.
And what was your toughest assignment in Pakistan? Which assignment at any level, whether ASP, SP, SSP, RPO, IG?
I would just like to narrate one of the incidents of as an ASP, which really changed my life, and it was very tough also. Because when I went there as a ASP in Gujar Khan, before the deployment, my senior, who was the DIG, Mr. Dr. Shoaib Sadal, he told me that if you have to go there, you have to take action against the drug mafia, and that should be your #1 priority. So I said I will do that. So when I was posted there, my SHOs, they came to me. I had 3 SHOs, 3 police stations under me. They told me, please don't do that, because if you will do this, you will be in trouble. Your life will be in trouble, and you will be in trouble.
Your job will be in trouble.
You will be, for next many years, you will be stuck up in different legal issues and everything, and you will be in trouble. So please don't do that.
It's like a mafia, dealing with a mafia.
So I said, what should I do then? He said, we can, catch some of this small
Fish.
And you can just, write reports, and, can send it to Dr. Shoaib Sadal, and, you can just make him, so you can satisfy him. So that night, that was the first day when I went there. And for that night I couldn't sleep, because I thought if I do this, it will be very, very, and it's my first day in my job, and it will be very, very dishonestly on my part if I do this. So I basically, in the morning, I decided to take action against the drug mafia. They were very strong. Politically also they were very strong. And they were very strong, they were very, very wealthy, and they were very influential. So I called them, and I started the action. I started the operation. And the first operation, I was leading it myself. And when I did that, we recovered lots of heroin, because Gujar Khan is very famous for drugs. They also
Drugs trade.
for drugs trade, especially for sending it in abroad also, and also locally also. There are lots. So especially at that time. So when I took the action, I recovered lots of narcotics, but during that we had an encounter with the criminals, and the criminals started firing at us.
Okay.
And I was standing there. My SHO got the fire. My gunmen, they got.
You were leading the team.
I was leading the team. I was myself there, and they started falling in front of me. And they were all sitting on the rooftops, and they were firing from there. So basically, at that time, I went into a trance for a few seconds. And that trance, I just, I felt, I visualized that if from today, if I do, I can die today. But if I live today, and if I can really, I'll devote my life for the people, especially for the poor people. I will. I don't know why it came to my mind, but I just begged God if I stay, because at that time I felt that I will not be able to.
You
live.
won't be able to get out of this.
Yes, and because most of them they all got the shot.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow I was the only person who was saved.
Survive. Okay.
Who survived, and that prayer or that vision somehow remained with me throughout my life. Although after that, for next 10 years, I really suffered a lot.
Okay.
because there were
so your SHOs were right.
Yeah, they were right. I had lots of litigations. I had to go to the High Court, to the Supreme Court. I was really, but my conscience is always very clear, and I was really happy that I did that.
Okay.
Although I had a very tough time after that.
So you're saying that probably your toughest assignment was this?
It started from there.
Okay.
But after that, it was not so tough, which was in my first posting as ASP Gujar Khan.
Okay. Tell me one thing, Temuri bhai, the police reforms, it has been on the agenda for a long, long time. A lot of people tried to implement it, some succeeded, some failed, but it could never be sustainable. We saw it being implemented in KP, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and Nasir Khan Durrani Sahab, a legendary police officer, mentor to many, including myself, was instrumental in doing that. He did a lot of work also on police reform. Why do you think that police reform being implementation is such a big or a difficult task all over Pakistan?
For this, just let me explain a bit the history of the police reforms.
Yes, please.
Because at that time when the British were here,
Yeah.
After 1857, there were basically at that time, there were two models all over the world in the policing. The first model was the Irish constabulary model, and the second one was the British or London Metropolitan Police model. So the Irish constabulary model was basically there to suppress the public. It was because it was implemented in Ireland, and there was an insurgency going on in Ireland. So it was it was not people friendly or service oriented. It was basically military type of police, and they really wanted to control the public rather than serving them. The British model, on the other hand, was very, very service oriented and people friendly. And but the British implemented the Irish constabulary model all over the colonies, including Indo-Pak. And in 1861, Police Act was promulgated, and it was based on the Irish constabulary model.
Okay.
They wanted people to control the public. They didn't want to serve them, basically.
Okay.
Because they were afraid that after 1857, people might
Mutiny or
there might be a mutiny, and the people and the police might again join their forces, and they can.
So more of an autocratic kind
So
of a model.
it was basically an authoritarian type of a police which came into being at that time. That police unfortunately remained till now. Even when Pakistan came into being,
The law didn't change.
The law didn't change. It was 1861 that Irish constabulary model was there, and after that there were about 25 different committees and commissions to reform police, but somehow none of them basically worked, and the police remained the same. 1861 Act. After that, in 2002, for the first time, the police order was promulgated. Police order is basically more service oriented, more people friendly. It is more specialized. There is basically more specialization, like investigation and law, watch and ward are separated. Basically, it has more. It is politically neutral. It is basically operationally independent, and there is also a protection of the senior officers for the tenure. So it's basically a very, very, very good law and act, basically a police order. But unfortunately, it was partially implemented all over Pakistan, and some of the provinces it is still 1861.
Yes.
With a different name, but it is 1860. But other provinces who have implemented it also have not implemented it in true spirit. So basically, there are many reasons. Number one is the political will. We are still in the 1861 mindset.
Okay.
We really want to control the public.
Okay.
We really want to manipulate the public. We really want political interference and use police as a tool for political interference also. So basically, there is a political. Number one is the political will, lack of political will, you can say. And the second one is also somehow I blame the police leadership also, because the police leadership also is half-heartedly they implement it. They want that raw power. They don't want accountability, because in the police order there is both accountability, internal accountability and external accountability also. There is a public accountability also. They don't want that,
because that would be a hindrance to their absolute power.
Yes, so somehow they also avoid it, and I also blame them. Now, Mr. Nasir Khan Durrani, I'm also his student. I also learned everything from him, and basically Nasir Khan Durrani is the one. He's really tried in KP. He implemented it. and he was able to do it. Public conciliatory committees were developed there. There was a law for public conciliatory committees, also public safety committees, and everything. He was able to do that. But somehow our officers, they really they are not so much interested in it. Although they say that they want
So
police
this
order.
is the reason that the old 1861 law is still prevalent, and due to probably a lot of concerted effort required from the political leadership and from the police itself.
Some of the police elements,
Elements.
especially at the
hindrance.
top, they are not fully convinced that this should be implemented.
Okay, that's a very wise input from your side. Tamir bhai, what are you doing these days now that you have retired from police? Mashallah, you served as IG Islamabad also. What are your hobbies these days?
First of all, I just want to enjoy my life because
Okay.
I've really worked very hard for
33 years, yeah.
So I want to relax. I do traveling. So I go abroad and just try to, because I want to invest on my experiences. Because investing on your experiences is the best way of your investment. So that I do. I go to different schools and colleges as a voluntary
Guest speaker.
as a guest speaker. I go there and I try to advise and guide the youngsters. I try to do that. I have one consultancy firm also. I'm trying to basically do the consultancy with the international organizations.
Okay.
So all these things I'm
Great.
doing.
So you're keeping yourself fully busy.
Yes, I'm busy.
Unfortunately, we have paucity of time, but before we wrap up, Tanvir, it's been very interesting talking to you. Any message that you'd like to give to specifically to our youngsters, to all the young police officers who are watching you right now after having served 33 years in police? What would you like to say to them?
In Stoicism, they say there are two types of things in this world. The things you can control and the things you cannot control. The things you can control is your own attitude. And you should focus only on the things you can control. And you can focus on your own attitude, your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own emotions, and your own belief systems. So try to develop your own belief system. You must have an empowering belief systems. For that, you must have a vision. You must have a dream. Whatsoever you will dream in life, you will achieve it.
You will achieve.
So I always tell, because whatsoever I dreamt in my life, I really achieved it.
Yeah.
Not only there is the reason because of it has a law of attraction, because it attracts also, but also you try to focus on those things. When you dream, then you start focusing on those things which you are dreaming basically.
So you have to dream big.
Yeah. So think big, think positive. Because people now, I see youngsters, they are not thinking positively. They are basically, there's lots of toxicity in our society, and we are just, maybe because of the social media and all these things, we are focusing more on negative things. So what I believe that we must, if you want to really be a successful person, and if you really want to be happy in your life, just try to be more positive in your life also.
Wow, that's a great message, Tanvir. Thank you very much. Absolutely, you have to dream big. And then obviously you need to work towards achieving that dream. But one thing I picked up from my talk with Dr. Sultan Azam Temuri is that you don't have to be a top performing student right from the start to make it big in life. As Azam Bhai told us, he was very average in studies, probably in the lowest ebb, right, in the last quartile. And from there he switched one top from his dad, and that made him change. Then he did the most difficult study, which was MBBS for 5 years, and then CSS. And the way he sounds, he's making CSS sound very easy, but I can assure you it's a very tough exam. So that's how life changes, and anyone and everyone can do it. Thank you very much, Dr. Saab. It was a pleasure talking to you. Continue with your traveling, and you are giving guest speaker sessions at different universities, colleges, teaching the youngsters. This is the way to go. Thank you very much. With this, we come to the end of this episode of Sky's the Limit. Inshallah, I will meet you with another interesting guest in another program. Till then, Allah Hafiz.